here tonight in Croydon, and I have to tell you, over the last few weeks of this campaign on devolution that we've just had, I heard all sorts of nonsense, didn't you? From north of the border, Anglophobic, Londonophobic sort of claptrap. You know, to listen to the people in some of our SNP friends, you would think that this was a city culturally, politically, economically, spiritually divorced from the rest of the country, London. And you know, people living in luxury and drinking pearls dissolved in vinegar and lolling back on the luxurious cushions of their bicycles. And that's how they presented London, wasn't it? And do you recognise that picture of our great capital? I don't. I think London, I'm very proud to say London is the capital of England. It's the capital of Britain, and thanks to the wisdom of that Scottish electorate, in the end it is the capital of the United Kingdom, and will remain so. And of course London has all sorts of problems, and has had for ages. We've got 4 of the 6 poorest boroughs anywhere in the UK. We've got gang crime, we've got knife crime, drugs, we've got all sorts of problems to deal with. Youth unemployment. But the truth is that we are dealing with those problems, and we're tackling them thanks very largely to the fantastic campaigning work of MPs like Gavin Barwell. And he is an absolutely, so I've known him for years and years, he's an absolutely superb MP, and I'm glad to say that under the Barwell regime, which is very largely going to coincide with that having said in my own, crime in London is down by about 7%, like crime in Croydon. Bus crime, I remember I came down to Croydon to campaign against bus crime right at the beginning. Bus crime is down by 40%, that's crime committed on buses, not crime committed by buses. The murder rate in Croydon, people were all worried about life crime and gang crime in Croydon. The murder rate in Croydon is down by 50%. Over this period, a fantastic achievement largely by the police, but also by your MP, Gavin Barwell, who came to me and said we need to have the police on the beat in Croydon, and he was instrumental in securing that 117 extra police that you have, and we'll make sure we'll work that out together, he and I, to keep those numbers high. Jobs. The economic prospects of this area have never been better. This is the powerhouse of the South London economy. Who would have thought 6 years ago that Croydon would have one of the biggest tech sectors? Yes, it does. Anywhere in Europe, fintech, biotech, medtech, edtech, nanotech, tech, it's all here, and it's championed, as you've heard earlier on, by Gavin Barwell. And those jobs are in all sorts of sectors of the economy. And my job as mayor is to work with your council, used to be Conservative, but not anymore, but amongst the workmen, wonderful, usually wonderful as it is now, and to make sure that we go through with the fantastic projects that Croydon needs. And I might mention the Wellesley Road improvements, on which we're going to lavish many millions. I think they will be wonderful when they come through. But I'd single out the incredible prospect of the Westfield development. Well, I should say the Westfield Amazon development, it's called West Ham, really. I don't think they like me referring to it in that way. And I played a small part in getting those two mastodons to engage in Congress together as they did. It was jolly difficult, but when it was going particularly, when there were some particularly tricky moments, tricky passages in those negotiations, I can tell you that your MP, Gavin Barwell, was absolutely fantastic, and his energy and his commitment to the deal was vital. So, folks, we want him here in Croydon, don't we? Yeah. We want him here in Croydon, but I tell you what else, we want him in Westminster. We want him in, but he's a fantastic local MP. He also makes a fantastic contribution to the deliberations of that place. Anybody who followed the debate on discrimination against people with mental disabilities. Well, no, he is a man of wide interest and a fantastic parliamentary performer. And we want him in, well, why did we want him in Westminster? I mean, in addition to his great merits as an individual and speaker and all that bit, this was we don't want a Labour MP in Croydon. We don't want a Labour government in this country. We don't want Ed Miliband and Ed Balls thinking that they own Croydon. I was told this was a non-political audience, so I'm suddenly starting to feel like, but I don't want Ed Miliband and Ed Balls giving back the keys to the car that they crashed so spectacularly. And I don't want them getting hold of the keys to Downing Street and throwing away the only chance that people of my generation have had to vote on the European Union and on European reform. There's only one way we're going to get the reform of the EU that we want and the renegotiation that we need, and that's get David Cameron in government and to sort that out. It's not just a common agricultural policy, which costs every family in this country, like years of hungry children at the back. Every family in this country, £400 extra in food, my friends, that you can spend on whatever you want to eat. Not only that, not only immigration rules that mean we cannot do anything to guarantee to protect our borders, have a managed immigration system. I'm a believer in letting talented people come to this country. I'm not a believer in uncontrolled immigration, which is deeply unfair on London council and on people who have to run this city. It was Labour who started it, and it's only going to be David Cameron and the Conservatives who are able to sort it out. I also want a Conservative administration to get in there and stop Brussels with coming forward with quite so much preposterous, unnecessary, OTOs, burdensome regulation on business and industry in this country, and not just business and industry, but ordinary households, my friends. I read the other day in the Daily Telegraph, if you can't believe the Daily Telegraph, what can you believe? That some wise guy in Brussels was proposing, in fact this may be about to become law throughout the 28 countries of the EU, to ban vacuum cleaners that were too powerful. Did you read this nonsense? Well, I'm perfectly prepared to accept that some in the wrong hands, incautiously handled, a vacuum cleaner may occasionally suck your budgerigar out through the bars of a cage or inhale your hamster. And I am told that there are people who have presented accident and emergency wards with embarrassing injuries sustained in the course of what we can only call vacuum cleaner abuse. But this is fundamentally, I think we agree, we have people in Whitehall, we have a government, we have a Department of Trade and Industry, we have people who look at manufacturing standards, and we have done for many, many years. I think this should be a matter for the people and for the government of this country to decide quite how powerful our vacuum cleaners need to be, and and how often we vacuum our carpets. And that is what I mean by stopping some of the nonsense from Brussels. We don't need it. It's completely unnecessary. We want that commission, we want the Eurocrats to row back and to be more prudent in their promulgation of these things. We have huge numbers of allies around the table in Brussels. We can get this done, but you can only get it done if you have the energy and the commitment that a Conservative, and an absolute Conservative government will bring to that negotiation. And also, while I'm on the subject of common sense, I want fairness for English voters, and fairness for English voters in our laws. If we're going to have any more devolution to this, because they've already had quite a lot, by the way, and the Barwell formula. I would have Barwell formula for Barwell, why not? And Croydon. If we're going to have more devolution, it's got more fiscal, financial control for the Scots, then we've got to have English votes for English laws, absolutely no question. And it cannot be right. It cannot be right that when those children grow up, there's wonderful children I can hear chirruping so sweetly. And that if they decide that under the decide they want to be educated at a university in Scotland. Do you know this? At a university where the English kids, the Croydon kids, decide, for some mystifying reason, they want to go to a university in Scotland. Do you know, they not only pay more than Scottish kids at the same university, Scottish students at the same university, yes, 3 or 4 times more. They pay more than Belgian kids and Croatian kids and German and every other student from the European Union. Now, can that be right? How did that happen? Because in 2004, when I was sitting there, I remember absolutely vividly, Labour used Scottish MPs as a great lumpen mat to beat down English resistance and to get that measure through. And I do not think that is fair. I don't think it's fair on England, I don't think it's democratic, and it needs to be sorted out. And that's why we need Gavin, and we need his colleagues, possibly even I have to say it to myself, in Westminster to address that matter and to sort it out. I don't want Miliband or Balls doing that because they won't. They won't sort out our problems. And do you believe, when you look at the economic policies that you've heard today from the Labour conference, do you believe they would do anything, either of those men, to increase employment in this country, to encourage business and industry, to take Britain forward, as it can be, to the most productive and dynamic economy in Europe, which, you mark my words, we will be over the next 20 years if we keep a Conservative administration in government? Do you think they have that agenda? They absolutely don't. Do you know what they want to do? They want to put up taxes, they've admitted this, taxes for everybody who earns more than £26,000 a year. They want swinging new taxes on family dwellings, as you know, which will overwhelmingly hit people in London, in Croydon. It will be a tax on this city. What does Miliband say he wants for Britain? Who would he rather be like? He said, which country would he rather be imitating? You would like Britain to be more like France. Wasn't that amazing? And that's the first clear message he had for the people of this country. Be more like France, right? Someone should take Miliband to France, and probably be a time now. So they have unemployment currently running at 11%. They have taxation at 75%, and the French economy is in such ruins that fully 400,000 people, 400,000 of the most talented French men and women have fled France and are now living in London. Ladies and gentlemen, there are more French people living in London than they have in Nantes. There are more French people than in Strasbourg, ladies and gentlemen. More people than they have in Bordeaux. It goes on like this, we have to worry about the German invasion, quite frankly. Let me ask Miliband, let me ask you, in conclusion, what do the people of France want, apart from coming here and the chance to be represented by Gavin Barwell rather than Francois Hollande? What do they want? What do they want? Nicolas Sarkozy said it when he was French president. He said because he came to London, he had a rather large tour of London suburbs, and he went back and he said to Carla Bruni, he said, "Chérie, there is one place that I want to there is one place in London that I think we should imitate in the banlieue of Paris." And what was it? Croydon! The French have the advanced case of Croydon envy. When we in Croydon are lucky enough to have a fantastic MP like Gavin Barwell. Thank you very much, everyone. And now, the moment you have all been waiting for, the man we want to see returned to Westminster in style and in triumph next May, Gavin Barwell.